my friends, welcome to the Diamond Painting Effect with Cori. I'm Cori, and I just thought I'd do a little quick pop-up video that one of my viewers had asked if I could show them how I grid my fabric. I'm talking really fast because I just pulled it out and did it real quick, so hopefully I can tell you about it. The first thing I do is I just find a place where I want to start. If I have a big huge piece of fabric, it doesn't really matter. I just start. Now I'm trying to show you the brand of pen. It's called a Frixion pen. It looks like I have the best place for it. It's Frixion pen, clicker 07, and I believe you can get these on Amazon. If I find it, I'll put the link in the description below. And I just start. I had a huge piece. I didn't really care where I started, so I just picked a spot and started. And I just count. I make a line and I count 10. The pen will actually, if you hold it kind of lightly, you can find a happy medium. It just bounces between the holes and goes along. In fact, when I use a ruler to do this, it ends up causing more trouble than not. So I just try to use the light hand, and then I count and I recount. I count and recount because I don't want it to be wrong. And so if you see, I already had it marked, but when I came back to actually draw the line, I counted again because, the line, when you do it this way, the line ends up being in the valley. So the full 10 stitches are on each side of the line, which is different from Magic Count. Magic Count uses one of the threads as the first and last. I'm sorry about it focusing in and out. I wasn't really watching the camera. I didn't see that happening. But as you see, I made a false count at the beginning. That won't bother me when I'm stitching because I probably won't be stitching that far on the edge anyway. And I'll just go ahead and just very lightly go from basically, I go from hole to hole. The beauty of this is when this fabric, if I do make a big mistake, it's easy for me to fix it. Sorry about my hand completely in the way there. But like I said, this was kind of like an impromptu thing. I was gridding my fabric for my Mary Ingebrigtsen stitch. And so I thought I would go ahead and record it for those of you who want to know how I do it. I haven't even really watched other people's videos on how they do it. I just knew about this Frixion pen and I just decided to do this. I did try it with a ruler at first and the ruler failed. I could not stay where I wanted the line to stay with the ruler. And I just find if I do these small sections at a time, I can gradually get it all done. It is a pain, but I have a really hard time counting. And so for me, it's a big help that I can have it gridded up and able to keep it helps keep reference points and all that stuff. So I just did a small section here for you. And now I'm going the other direction and I'm counting across. I'm going to be counting double, because I just want to make sure that counts right. There's be nothing worse than having it be off in the middle of your cross stitch pattern. So I'll mark it and then I'll draw the line. When I get it situated where I want to put the pattern in the grid, then I'll go ahead and put labels at the top and on the sides that will help me. And it doesn't really matter, different people have different things that help them. So do what helps you. I try to make it match, like if it's 10, 20. Sometimes I'll just put 1, 2, 3 instead of 10, 20, 30. Sometimes I'll do 10, 20, 30 across the top. And so that it helps me to find the right box when I'm looking on the grid for where to start or stop something. And I just, like I said, I just go, that camera just goes in and out of focus for you guys. And it really isn't that hard to do this. I was actually afraid to do it, but after trying to cross stitch without the grid, I'm coming back to the grid more and more, because it just helps. It doesn't stop me from making mistakes, but it does help. It helps with the orientation. You can look quickly and see as you're going through, you'll see you're too close to the line than you thought you should be. And so you can double check right then. You don't have to go 20 more stitches and find out you're off. You just kind of can double check with the lines in the pattern, and that you know where you are. And so that's why the grid helps me. I wish I knew how to speed this up for you guys, because I want to get to the next part, because I think this is pretty self-evident. I just turned, after I got through doing the lines one direction, I just turned the fabric and turned it another way. This particular piece of fabric is huge. I think it's a yard by 2 yards. It's one of those ones that comes in the big long tube from Hobby Lobby. It is an artiste brand, Zygarde. And this particular one is a 16 count. The smaller they get, the harder it is to feel the dots as you're moving through the fabric. So, like, this is a 16 count. It is definitely more difficult to feel the line than it is for 14 count, but I could still do it. I don't know if they have finer point pins of this Frixion, because a finer point pin probably would be better for the 22 count, 24 count, and the 28 count. I know there's some people who grid their fabric with the piece of thread, and I don't understand how that works. It just, maybe that thread just gets eaten up with the stitching. I don't know. I don't know how. It seems to me like if you wanted to pull it out later, it would be caught up in it. So some of you guys may know more about that than I do. If you notice, I made a little mistake there across the top. I kind of bobbled out a line there. That won't bother me as I'm stitching. It might bother you, but all of those little bobbles are fixable. You don't have to stick with that if you don't want to do it. And here is where the part where I'm going to show you. I'm going to take my Frixion pin and just write on the fabric stuff that I don't want there. 1, 2, 3, and I got my iron out. I'm going to get I put a little pad underneath it because I'm just on a little writing desk. So I put a little pad underneath it, and I'm going to go get my iron. And this isn't a trick. This isn't a magic trick. This is straight on camera filming. I didn't stop or start it, but there it is with my old iron, and that's gone. And so if I want to erase those lines over there on the grid, I could do it. It's not worth it to me, because if I want to erase those little tiny marks there, I would erase more than that, and I'd have to go back and redo it. So now I'm getting creative here. Gonna make something fancy there, and I'm gonna show you again. This iron just comes in and it's gone, just like that. So Gunther came and joined me along here, so y'all can't quite see him, but I'll let you know that he's there. Okay, so here he is. I want to thank you for joining me for the diamond painting effect with Cori. Take care, and we will see you again in the next one.